Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Friends with Death Benefits. We're in the studio tonight, just me, Tiff, and Joe. Kind of talking about what it's like for someone who hasn't been through this kind of stuff and their end of it and their interactions with the people in their lives that are going through this kind of stuff. What they can do to be on our level and what we can do as grieving people to try to be more sympathetic to other people that are just trying to be sympathetic to us. We talk about a lot of interesting stuff tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in. How's it going, Tiff?
It's going.
Yeah?
It's going.
That's good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I feel like it's been a little while.
It has been a little bit.
I know how you
weeks.
get to missing me.
A couple weeks. Oh, yeah. God. You caught me.
Yeah.
You caught me. Cue the tears.
Well, you could pretend a little, maybe.
No, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. Joe's here.
Joe is here. He's hanging out with us tonight.
It's good to see you. And Joe's here.
And
Yeah.
Joe's here.
Joe, I got to hang out with
Joe's
Joe.
here. And Joe's just hanging out.
I got to hang out with Joe last weekend. Joe came to our show in Clear Lake and recorded sound to prepare for recording sound. Because that's the kind of professional Joe is. He does a pre-run to make sure all his shits and ducks are in a row.
Wow.
Dealing with the real deal here.
He is the real deal.
Hiring the true guns.
That's why this podcast sounds so good.
He got to watch a whole comedy show from the sound booth.
And I participated.
Did
He
you
did a
do a
little
set?
Yeah. No, I didn't do a set.
The headliner, our headliner, Mike Brody, was trying to reminisce about towns from Iowa, and he said, "Who's the town that has the mascot? It's the Mighty Midgets."
And I'm like,
and-
Esterville.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I never even knew that.
Is that even, that's not politically correct.
Couldn't
They
be.
don't say that anymore, do
Couldn't
they?
be.
Yeah, right. Like,
I don't know if they still are the Mighty Midgets. I know when I first came to Iowa, they were, though.
In
And I'm like,
Eskerville it is.
seriously? Do they wrestle? And yeah, they wrestle. So you have Mighty Midget Wrestling,
oh my.
which seems like it should be a thing at Rumors, but, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
a bar.
Now I want
Yeah,
a Mighty
yeah.
Midget Wrestling like sweatshirt, like
My God.
Esterville Wrestling.
Okay, if anybody's listening to this, please let us know if that's still a thing. I want to
And
know.
if there's any bars in Esterville that would like a stand-up comedy show,
Yeah.
contact me because we would love to come and
Right.
find out more about these midgets that are so mighty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they all look very muscular to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Short people, little people, dwarfs they just seem very brawny and muscular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like rough and tumble kind
Yeah.
of, you know?
I mean, they got to be.
You don't see a lot of meek little folk.
No, you
They
don't.
all seem pretty Popeye-ish. You know, like rugged sailor types, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rugged sailor type.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Love their spinach kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay,
you know,
I see.
you know? That kind of stuff.
I love that.
You know.
Yeah.
I hope I don't upset any sailors. I support the Navy.
He's yeah.
But interesting week.
Mm-hmm.
It's the week today when the show's airing. It's actually my wedding anniversary.
Hot damn.
And I'm in Denver, Colorado, but not really.
Wow.
But
Mile High Country. How long have you been married?
married 6 years, together 10 this year.
Boom.
So pretty crazy. Whole
And
decade.
Joe was just saying that he has been married for
9, coming up on 9.
When's your wedding anniversary?
What would it be from whatever? I'm trying to do the math. Like a week and a half.
A week and a half from
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Nice.
August is a hot month for
It is.
matrimony.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
it is. Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet. Kyle and I were doing the math. We have been married for 14 years in October and been together for 19. Damn.
Almost 2 decades.
Almost half of our lives.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
wild.
wild. It is.
God, and like it's showing. Like, we are aging quickly.
Like
Grief makes you
presidents.
look old as shit. It does.
They look like a president that just learned the launch code, just turning gray fastly.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I know it's also an interesting week for you because Ethan's birthday was this week.
Yeah. So by the time this airs, yes, we will have gone through that very first milestone thing.
Did you spend his birthday with him last year?
I did, and I was thinking about this today, and There's a funny thing in the world of grief where you sort of have these weird regrets. And I've never been the type of person that's ever lived with regrets or really remorse for that matter. Like I have a stone cold heart. No. But I was thinking about Ethan's birthday last year, and we went to Papa's, and I hate Papa's. It's the worst food ever, for real.
There goes that sponsorship.
Yeah, fight me, I don't care. And we went to dinner. It was the four of us, and we sat down and we ordered our food. And I had been having an off day. I didn't really know why. And I remember sitting at the table and just kind of not being able to concentrate. And I was kind of hot and like, it was kind of breathing heavy. And I just looked at Ethan. I was like, you ever feel like everything around you is just like gyrating, like vibrating, like, and I kind of held my hands up and kind of, shook my hands. I'm like, it just feels like everything around me is like going like that. And he just like reaches his hand across the table and he's like, you're having a panic attack. And I had a freaking panic attack on his birthday at a subpar restaurant. And that was his birthday last year. That's how he spent his birthday. And I feel so much regret about that. And I know that's dumb. It's totally irrational, but I just feel bad.
You know what I take from that moment though, Tiff? If it makes you feel any better.
I feel like I know what you might say, but
you were having an intense moment and he understood you.
Yeah. No, and like I don't think I realized that I had really had those or had anxiety until that moment. Mm-hmm. And so it was cool, it was cool that he could talk to me about that and kind of give me comfort. Yeah. I just feel bad that it was like his birthday.
Sure. Oh, dude, I got a million of those. Like my mom's last birthday, I was going to take her out, she was around all the people that encouraged the drinking. And I was like, can we go out to dinner for your birthday? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I would really appreciate it if you, didn't drink, and we could just spend an hour together. And she said that she would. And she called me a half hour before we were supposed to pick her up. And she's like, just let me know when you're coming and I'll meet you outside. And I said, okay. So I called her right before I was leaving. And I said, hey, I'm putting my shoes on, heading that way. It's a 6-block drive. Got in the car, drove there, sat there for about 10 minutes, called, no answer. Sat there for about another 15 minutes, called, no answer. Could I have gone to the door? Probably. I hadn't been in that house in 3 years, and every experience with Darwin was super volatile, so I wasn't trying to do that. Mm-hmm. I called a third time, she didn't answer, and I just decided, all right, I guess we're going home. So we went home, and I was thinking, maybe she'll call, in a little bit or something, and I didn't hear from her for like 3-4 days. And when I did, it was like the attempt to, what are you talking about? That already happened and doesn't need to be talked about. I don't know what happened. I don't know. No, I watched for you. You never came. Just crazy, just arguments that don't make sense. And when her birthday happened this year, that's all I could think about was like, that was the last birthday I had with her. So like, I get that. Mm-hmm. I completely get that.
I mean, and I even said to him, like, I hate this. This birthday sucked. And I was really being hard on myself. And I was like, I'm sorry. This sucks. And, he's like, it's cool, Mom. It's fine. It's fine. He always would say that though. It's fine. It's fine. Even if it wasn't fine, he'd always say it was fine, but yeah. So, but you just don't, you don't think you think, oh, I'll make it up to him next year.
Right.
So.
Well, that's the weirdest part. There's always that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, and then you wonder, is that how I'm going to feel every time this comes around? Am I going to think about that last one? Or
I suppose it'll be part of it for a while.
Do you try to, let me ask you this. What was, of all the birthdays that you spent with him, what was your favorite and how old was he and what you guys do?
Okay. So this is also kind of tough because Ethan was a really difficult child, and it seemed like, I don't know why, but it seemed like around his birthday every year, he would just be in a shit ton of trouble. And
It's my birthday. You can't punish me.
right. Yeah. Right. Well, his mom don't work like that. So, we kind of missed out on a lot of really fun birthday stuff. Like one year, it was his golden birthday. His birthday's the 13th of August. So, it was Friday the 13th. And so I was going to throw him this really bomb zombie pool party at the pool. And he had gotten in a shit ton of trouble, like at school, or I can't really remember what it was. And I had to ground him and cancel the party. You know, that was the currency at the time, was like, okay, well, I have to cancel the party now, And I really hated that because like I wanted that so bad, for probably more than he did, you know? And we ended up just having family over at the house and cake and whatnot. And his dad came and stuff. But honestly, some of the birthdays I remember the most were when he was really little. His first birthday was on Friday the 13th. And I was very superstitious, so we did not leave the house. So we just sat in my apartment when I lived in Northwood, and I made him a teeny tiny cake, and he destroyed it, and we just hung out and whatever and snuggled and stuff. And then for the following couple years, he used to love Blues Clues, loved it. And so we'd have like these big Blues Clues parties at, at the park and stuff. And he'd just get, in August, it's like 120 million degrees and 80% humidity. And so, there's nothing better than a sticky baby running around with dirt and frosting and just
ants and flies.
And yeah, just like, and those were fun. And his little face just beat red and, half naked and stuff like that. So those were, when he was really little, I really, really remember those ones.
Sure.
For sure. And then he turned into a shitbag, and then we couldn't celebrate anymore. But no.
Way to ruin your birthday for everybody, bud.
Yeah.
We got you a sitter. We're going to your party.
That's right.
And you're staying here.
You're staying home, you little shithead. He, on his 21st birthday, we were not talking because that was the year that he was trying to find himself and stuff. And so I didn't find out until later, what did you do for your 21st birthday? And he's like, oh, I think he said he walked to Burke's, which is, it's a really kind of seedy bar in our town.
Someone got their thumb bit off there once.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Burke's in a nutshell.
Okay, yeah. It's
I heard they got good cheeseburgers, though.
They do have good cheeseburgers.
I want to know more about the thumb.
I wish I knew more.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more. I'll look
is it
into that for you,
framed?
Joe. I don't know if it still belongs to the bar, or
wow.
or if it got
The
reattached.
infamous thumb. Here's the thing.
It
I don't
wasn't
think
that long ago.
anybody would really try to scrap with Ethan just because of his enormous size. But so he walked up there, I think he said he ordered a beer, which Can
I have a beer? What kind? I don't know.
Right.
I'll have the beer, please.
I'll have the beer. And he drank a part of this beer and hated it, obviously. And then I think I don't know if he went home and smoked some pot with his friends or something like that. But yeah, so he just, he was kind of just a chill, don't make a big deal about stuff. I mean, when you would make a big deal, he would relish in it in his own kind of way, but he wasn't really much for like the big to-dos, it just wasn't his thing. So,
well,
yeah,
I guess we won't make a big fuss then.
Yeah.
Let's just
Boo.
say happy birthday, Ethan.
Yeah, lame. Yeah. 23. He'd be 23.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It makes me feel old. Like time has gone so fast. But I forgot that I was a kid when I had him. Like I was literally a child.
That's what I thought of when you were telling me about his first birthday and like sitting in your apartment superstitious. I pictured you just like as a kid pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
basically.
Got this baby. It's pretty breakable. Better not leave.
We're both enjoying Blues Clues.
We are. Yes, we were. I mean,
do you mind if we put on Dora next?
Right.
Okay.
We love the Teletubbies. We were into the Teletubbies. Yeah. So that's that. That's that. So not really sure what that's gonna be like. For sure.
Scary.
You know, honestly, I have been, and this is some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. I've been sort of shifting into a new phase of this, and I've kind of just decided that I'm not going to be in fear of the pain at all anymore. I'm just going to face it. It is just a part of who I am now. It's a part of this, and I'm just going to go into it without fear. And it's not because the fear doesn't make it hurt any less. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask, are you, before that statement, building it up too much? Like, oh my God,
Yeah, you know,
I know I'm not going to be able to deal with this.
Yeah, no.
And then you get to that point
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, oh, that wasn't as bad
Yes.
as I thought it would
I
be.
learned that over the holidays. Yes.
And then would you come back with, oh, that didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would. Am I a horrible mother for not feeling pain
Yeah.
on that day?
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a lot of ways that you could overthink
Yeah, for sure.
that.
I think for me, it's more like, you know, as Christmas and stuff came and went last year, I think the anticipation of the holidays coming and I, you know, I was kind of expecting it to be this big horrible thing, but it really wasn't. It wasn't terrible the day of. But what I did learn was it was the days leading up to or the weeks before or even the couple of days afterwards where it was just like that's where it kind of feels yucky or whatever, but it's never the actual day of. And so I'm starting to feel that the pain of it now. You know, it's, you know, we're recording tonight is Monday. Today is probably the first day that I really started to feel it. And I probably will for the next couple of days. And then when the day comes, it's going to come and it's going to go and whatever. But I don't think I don't think I'm the type that would ever feel bad if I wasn't feeling a certain emotion at a certain time. You know what I mean? I
was just curious
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
No, that's a really good, I suppose that some people do, you know, I mean, there's a lot of guilt wrapped around in all the emotions.
So are you marking his birthday? Are you doing
anything? We are going to load up the fam.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to go back to the restaurant.
Oh God. Yeah. We're going to go have that terrible cheeseburger again. Throw a fit in there. I should. That place sucks. No, we're going to go to Milwaukee and we're going to go to Six Flags.
So you're going to stay busy.
Yeah. I think I have to be not at home. I do know that. I've been...
Well, and if your emotion gets the best of you, get on a ride.
Exactly.
Scream it out for 90 seconds.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Get your S back together while you're standing in line for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And then let it all out for 45.
Yeah. 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 I mean... we wanted to do something that like Ethan really loved and Claire's always wanted to go to Six Flags. And so I thought it would be fun to just be kind of distracted in a healthy way and do something fun because, you know, you can't celebrate a birthday. You know, I can't celebrate Ethan's 23rd birthday because Ethan isn't 23. Ethan's 22, you know, but I can celebrate the day that he was born, you know, which I remember that day very vividly. And so I can celebrate that. And I have the rest of the days to be sad.
Is it weird being a mom on a birthday for someone you gave birth to? Does that have special significance?
I'm so glad that you asked that because yes, it does. I think about it every birthday, my kids' birthdays. It's a really big day for me because
I did this.
Yes, this really big thing happened in my life. And I think that maybe we don't, as moms, talk about this great big thing that we did. And so like when my friends' kids have birthdays, I'm always sure to like talk to them about, do you remember this day? Like, what was that like? And what an amazing thing you did. And like, but it absolutely is. And I'm sure like, other moms would totally agree that it's just, it changes your life forever. And like to have, and I don't know how it is for dads, how it is when you see your baby for the first time, if you're instantly just in love, you know?
Panic,
Yeah.
love,
Yeah. A lot of fear.
fear. Like, oh my God, they're letting me take this out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Like I have no qualifications.
Right.
And all they did was like, oh yeah, no, your car
Yeah.
seat's fine.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Now I'm a dad.
Isn't that
Good
wild?
God.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think moms feel that way too, but I think there's just a moment there where it's like, especially when you hold them for the first time, you know, they hand them right up to you all slimy and cheesy and whatever. And they're just it's just the most incredible thing, like to fall instantly in love with someone. And I know it's not that way for every mom, you know, or whatever, but I was lucky that it was that way. I was so scared because I was just newly 17, but I just was never so sure either about anything else. And so I celebrate myself on those days too, because, you know, silently in the shower, like, yeah, you fucking did that. Whoa, you know.
My mom called me once I, moved out and lived on my own. She would call me very early because she was a nurse, so she was up.
Got to be first.
And she would always, I'd say hello. I was always, cell phone era, cell phone by your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, half asleep, 6 a.m. And she would always sing right away. She'd always rush through it very fast.
Oh, that's cool.
Happy birthday to you. She'd sing the whole thing, but as fast as she could. And then instantly, without like missing a breath, she'd be like, so do you want to hear about the day you were born?
Oh.
And
Every year?
Every year.
Oh, wow.
Without fail. And I'd always be like, not really, to be honest.
Really?
And then I realized, like, as I got a little older that, and I don't think I realized it in the way that I did just now,
It's
in
for
like
her.
a celebratory way, but yeah, it was.
Do you want to hear about this great big thing I did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And so the doctor's face was this close to me. No, okay.
Like she starts out like talking about like, like what they did that morning and like
yeah, it's cool.
what the weather was like.
Mm-hmm. And I remember all that stuff. It's really crazy. I bet if you ask Bailey,
I have no idea what the weather was like on either of my child's
I bet you.
birthdays.
Let's check back.
She remembered not liking the doctor's cologne.
Oh wow.
Like just, everything.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and then like I think the parts she would like try to gross me out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the labor parts of the story, it's like, Mom, fucking enough.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I get it now. I
Yeah.
think. But
My mom remembers the neckties that the doctors were wearing when we were born. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, there's just, women are just naturally way more observant, and I assume like the dads are probably panicked and they're watching their wives thrive, or, they're just in all this intense pain and whatever. So, but women just, they have this ability to just lock those memories in, and it's just something you just never forget.
I remember struggling to tie the whatever the heck it is that you got to wear. Smock.
Oh yeah, your little gown.
Yeah, I'm like,
oh,
come on.
yeah,
I get the little booties on my feet. I don't even have big feet. Why is this
Yeah.
so difficult?
yeah,
My God, can somebody help me, please?
yeah. It's and like when it was a super easy task, but that just shows how
Yeah.
much you struggled and you're frustrated and you're,
And then they're like, here's a human.
yeah. Take this thing home and see how. Now they send you home in like 8 hours.
Yeah, for some people,
it's
depending on
wild.
how the birth goes.
Yeah, I was ready to get out of there, man. Get me out of there. So yeah, that's the story of birthdays.
one of the many stories of
One of the
birthday.
many stories of birthdays. I don't know. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so the last episode that we did with Yolanda, which by the way, I hope the listeners had a chance.
If you haven't, listen.
Yeah, if you have not listened, listen to it. It is really powerful stuff. After we were closing up for the night, and Joe gets home like super late because we keep him at the studio late But I just, I never thought to ask Joe what it's like for him to sit here and listen to our guests and listens to us talk about this experience and all these individualized experiences. And so I just candidly asked Joe, what's this like for you? And Joe's response was, I don't know what I expected.
Wasn't that?
I
didn't expect to say that either.
But it leapt so quickly from his mouth that I was just like, that's what I think what was so telling to me was like, holy crap. So I said, Joe, what is this like for you? Like to sit here and listen to all this? And your response was what?
But the first thing that I said was that, and I don't remember the exact way I said it, but to paraphrase myself, sometimes it seems like you don't want help.
Like you don't want to get better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or that, yeah, maybe that's exact. I don't know exactly what I said, but it seems like you deflect opportunities for help or commonality or, I'm being much more eloquent than I was with my 7 words that I said. Just that's just what popped to the top of my mind. And I mean, if I can expand on that.
Yeah.
And granted, I've learned listening to the show the appropriate way to, instead of "I'm so sorry for your loss," which is not the right. Don't ever say that to anyone. I've learned. Don't.
Or there's different ways.
I'm here for you and I love you.
Yeah.
You were saying
you can say it. It just isn't having the effect you think it is.
Yeah. I'm here.
Like even if it's true that I'm sorry for your loss, you don't care.
It's true.
And so my statement was basically like, there's people that don't have a degree in dealing with grief, because I don't know that there are a lot of people that have degrees in dealing with grief, whether it's a friend or an acquaintance or a coworker that has something happen. They truly want to help, want to be there for you. And you guys, your guests that have been on, seem flippant at times towards the
outsider.
Yeah, towards the outsider, because you're not part of this club. You don't know what we're going through. And even though each person's thing is different, but there's a shared wavelength in there of what you're going through. And it's difficult, I think, for people that want to truly help, or maybe not even help, but just share a commonality. And it's like, I'm not trying to hurt. I'm not trying to steal your grief. I'm not trying to push in on your grief. I'm just trying to be here with you in your moment.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's no right way to do that, or maybe right time to do that. And I guess knowing when is the appropriate time to say that piece that I want to be here to help.
Right.
Whatever it is. Can I bake you a lasagna? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for someone that truly does want to be compassionate at the very least.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to help, but I just want to be compassionate.
To be honest, it's weird on the other end of it because we don't want to come off unappreciative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I realized that that's true. What you're saying, a lot of it is like subconscious, I think. Because I do appreciate a lot of that. But it's hard to not be like, but there ain't
what
shit.
The hell
you know what I mean?
Know?
Or just like, I wish that I could, you know what I mean? It's just like be there in my head, but like it. And at the same time, it's like you do. It's like I think through this whole thing, it's weird to have 2 feelings at the same time where you're like, yeah, whatever, and that's really nice of them to give a shit. You know what I mean?
Paradox.
And it's a weird wrestling match between the two. While at the same time, there's the weirdness of just the whole thing in general. So that's.
And I don't mean to, like, it's just me saying this, but I've heard this from your recants of talking to people.
Right. So, yes.
And you talk about, like, you're at the wake or at whatever it is, and somebody's coming up, and that's obviously the worst time to do anything besides just, let me give you a hug.
Yeah.
And get away from me.
Yeah, right.
So,
So after I left here that night, I I thought a lot about it, and I have thought about it, I would say probably every day since, just because I think I wasn't aware, even though I feel like I'm taking all these steps and doing all the things I need to do to try to move through this and move to different things. And, I do a lot of reading and I do therapy, and I'm trying to, be active and trying to work through these kinds of things. I think I didn't realize what it was like for the outsider's perspective, and because you're so consumed. And so I've been trying to be very mindful about how people are trying to connect with me now. And the nice thing is that the nice and terrible thing is that there are so few now. And I've talked about this before, like my social circle's gotten very, very small.
The stadium thing.
Yes. Yeah. And, but there are those people who are trying to connect with me, and that have been kind of trying to do it since the beginning. And so I've been trying to be more conscious of them, and not where I'm thinking about them when I'm having a moment, but being more conscious about expressing myself to them. So like, for instance, a couple weekends ago, I went hiking with a friend of mine for a weekend, and we were just talking on the way to the hike, and I said something that just triggered me emotionally. And I just broke out and broke down into this like beller, and she just reached over and held my hand really tightly while I cried. And that was all that I needed right then. And afterwards, and she just let me have it. She just let me have the moment. And it was such a critical thing. But normally I would hold back that emotion because I don't want to give it to people. Because I don't want them to feel like they have to do something to make me feel better.
I have to say something.
I have to say something. Yeah. And so, but because, I don't know how it happened, or if it was just me being able to be really vulnerable in that moment. I just had the moment, and then as I was kind of like clearing it up, I was just like, that's just all I needed right then. And it happened to me again today at my place of work. I was looking at pictures on my desk of Ethan, and one of my coworkers, Rhonda, was there, and I just lost it, and I just sobbed for a minute, and I put my head down on my desk, and she just reached for my hand, and she said, "I don't know what to do." And I said, "You don't need to do anything, just hold my hand." And that's all she did. And she just squeezed my hand while I cried. But you don't know unless I tell you. And so it's a very vulnerable thing to say exactly what it is that you need. Like, I just really need you to hold me right now, or I need you just to sit with me and just be quiet. Like,
tell me things will get better.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Like, or, whatever it might be in that moment. And so I think having that conversation with you really allowed me to maybe open myself up a little bit more and not be so closed. It's been almost a year now, and I need to start letting some people in, because I need to be able to, because I can't control this side of me anymore. I can't control like when these things are going to happen, and by holding it back, it makes me bitter, and I don't want to be that, and I don't want outsiders to think that they're not important enough to me to share that moment with me.
So your coworker, and I don't know like what level of friend you're at, drinks after work or whatnot, but was that difficult for you to tell her in that moment?
It was.
This is what I need.
Yeah, it was. Because I know that she doesn't deal with emotions very well. But I have sort of laid some groundwork over the years that I've been there, that I am an emotional person. I can articulate my emotions well. And there was probably like 6 months ago, I came to work, and I walked in the door, and I was emotional, and I said, "I just really need a hug right now." And she's not even a hugger, and she just walked around from the desk and she hugged me. And then that was it. And I felt like just letting her in that little bit. And so today it was just a very unexpected moment. And it was really hard for me because initially I thought, this is making her uncomfortable. I knew that it was making her uncomfortable, but I had to just have the moment, and she just happened to be there. And so I had to just kind of surrender and then afterwards I was able to say to her, thank you so much for being there right then.
I'm not her, but if I was in her spot, I would feel less uncomfortable being there holding your hand than like sitting at my desk trying to get my reports done as you like bawl at your desk.
Right.
You know, because like you don't want any help right now. So God, I wish you'd keep that down. I got to make some phone calls.
Right.
You know, I would feel less weird pretending, not pretending that this isn't taking place, you know?
Right. And I think like a lot of it is like, for me, I think I've taught myself since I was little is like, you don't want to be an obligation to somebody. Like if I'm crying at my desk, I don't want her to feel obligated to get up and walk over, but you have to put that stuff aside and you just have to have the moment, whether it's alone at your desk or whether it's when your coworker is going to walk over. You just still have to have the moment and believe that like people are human and people do love and care about you. And they may not know how to do it the right way, but you have to let them in a little bit to share it with you, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you find it beneficial to either one of you to when somebody is, you know, you're conscious, they're trying to reach out, they're trying to help, saying to them, hey, I appreciate the effort, but right now is not the time. Can I tell you when I need help? Is that too forward?
No, I think that's great. I think that's so great.
Or, not, or I don't know if the help's the right word, but can I tell you when I need
had a couple? I don't know about you, Justin, but in the beginning, I did have several messages like that, and I think I appreciated those the most because it was like, I know you're bombarded. I trust that you'll reach out when you need me. I don't know what to do right now. I had a couple women reach out to me and say like,
no, I'm talking about the reverse. You saying that to somebody.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, okay. So like
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
You're having a rough day.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't want to deal with Joe's sympathy. Would it be beneficial to say, hey, I appreciate that you're trying to help right now. I need to handle this on my own. Yeah. Can I let you know in a way that you could help me?
I feel like I'm in a place I can do that, I think.
Or is that too weird?
No, because I don't think
as
so.
As a person, it shouldn't be.
As a person trying to help a friend, you know, we selfishly want to do something for our friend. Yeah. And maybe selfishly isn't in there, but you know, we want to help.
Would you feel rejected if I said it?
No, I don't think so, because I mean, everything's awkward. And so, you know, it'd be like, okay, cool. You know, I felt like maybe I could help out here, but you know, you don't need it right now. But you're going to reach out if you do. Good. That makes me feel better than you're going to bottle all this stuff up and I'm going to read about you in the paper, you know, or something along those lines. I want to know that you are willing to communicate at some point in time.
And that's the thing too, is it goes even further to like, we should all communicate with each other better in general. But like for me, I'm the kind of person that if someone comes at me with specifics, like I'm rarely one to turn down. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, if someone's like, hey, I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to go do this. You know what I mean? Like I'm very rarely going to be like, I can't do that, because but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, hey, it's going to be hard for me to be like, hey, you know, could you come pick me up? I need to, you know what I mean? It's like, because on the other end of it, when someone asks you, you feel that, you know what I mean? That want, that like, and like, then at the same time, I thought it like, you know, it'd be like, can I get a hold of you, you know, when I need help? And let's say that you're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm probably not going to reach out, because then it goes back to that whole, you know, you don't want to be a burden to somebody thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, did that ship sail already? So it's like, there's all these, it's not even a double-edged sword. It's like a fucking ninja star, you know, it's like, there's a lot of sharp stuff going on. And like, but yeah, it should be that way. We should be able to, that's the healthiest thing possible, is to be able to, you know, when you care about someone and they care back and you trust that, People will be like, this is where I'm at. Can I meet you there?
Like,
You know?
in
In a
being the
perfect
griever,
world.
that this person isn't just saying it for lip service.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
you
That's
Yeah.
where it goes back to the mix up between like, I don't want to come off like I don't appreciate it without
Yeah.
Mhm.
expressing that honesty that you just can't avoid. You just don't have it in you to be like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's a weird push and
think
pull.
It is. And I think it just comes down to like trusting those people that have still continued to kind of be around. Like you have to trust that I could look at, you, Joe, and say, like, I see what you're doing and it's just not what I need right now. But I really appreciate you. Like I have to trust that you're not going to take offense to that and
Yeah.
that you will come back again. And I've even told friends like, hey, thanks for inviting me to this. I can't really get myself to go there, but please ask me again. So I'll be sure to like make sure that I leave it with like don't stop what you're doing, because I do appreciate what you're doing, but it's just not what I need right now. And I think it's just there has to just be that kind of trust. But that's why I think I understand why people don't like friendships dissolve through this kind of thing, or relationships dissolve, because it takes a lot of work to be friends with somebody who is in such a deep grief,
And sometimes the best thing to do is just listen. You don't even talk.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just listen.
Yeah. Or just even if you just sitting quiet sometimes.
Would it be weird if one of your bros, Justin, called up and said, "Hey, I'm here to listen"?
Ooh.
No, not to me.
No?
Not to me. Because I'm as much of a dude as I am. I'm toxic masculinity is lost on me. You know what I mean? So no, I have, one of my best friends, I'm still learning at 36 that adult friendships just look different than young adult friendships. People got a lot of shit going on, and just because you don't spend a bunch of time with someone doesn't mean they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm still working on understanding that. Sometimes I get in my own head about different friendships. It's like, oh, I haven't heard from this person. It's like, well, because they got a fucking life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I stop and tell myself like, okay, every single time I call this person or text this person or invite them to something, they're there every single time.
Yeah.
I have to remember that. But this person I'm talking about is very like, through all the different things that I've gone through since I've known him, which has been, since I was like 21. So a long time. I call or text and tell him, this happened, and it's always on my way. We just sit there and I run my mouth like I know how to do so well. And no, I think everybody should have that. And I don't think that should be shunned away at all, no matter what kind of, because not everybody does have that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky in that way,
Mm-hmm.
both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We have people that want to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting take on what it is like for somebody on the outside,
And sorry if it came off as rude.
No, you
I
didn't
was
at
getting
all.
like blown up by a bunch of stuff
No,
at the time. And so,
I didn't.
And that's the whole thing.
not that there's an excuse to my
No,
thoughts
no,
and feelings
no,
and everything
no.
else. But
I
was
thought
just
it was great.
Everything is happening now. What
Yeah.
do you want?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you get.
You want me to talk about my emotions? I'm just trying to get out of here, man.
Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth.
Yeah, for real.
But it's like, that is on us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's no way around. It's not that we deserve to have to, but it is on us to, if we don't express to someone,
Yeah.
then they can't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, we don't always have the energy or the want to do that, but it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
It is. And I think the more honest you are about your needs, and I think it does kind of weed people out. I mean,
Oh yeah.
not because you can tell like who's there, who's giving lip service, to pump themselves up, and who is really just trying to be a decent human being, and then who's really just there in the thick of it with you. So that's kind of like, that's just really what I'm after right now, is just.
Have you found, being a year into the grief journey, are you still getting like the same amount of people trying to connect with you, trying to help, trying to, whatever
not.
the word is? Or does that plummet off at like 6 months or whatnot?
Sooner.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the smoke is completely settled by about 3 months.
As far as that end of it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the people that are like, I'm going to be on your ass. You know what I mean? I'm going to bug you till you can't stand it because you got to be all right.
They mean
they
it,
got to
though,
get
when
back
they
to their
say it.
lives too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They mean it when they say
so
it.
that's why when we've always said, be careful what you mean, what you know what I mean? Be careful. Like, you don't got to promise that kind of shit. You don't have to.
Yeah,
you know
don't
what I mean?
give me
It's
the
okay
movie
not
stars.
to.
Yeah.
But like, it does. It fades. And then it turns into kind of a weird, like, people aren't so sure like what to, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I want to hang out, but it's like,
yeah.
What do you want to do? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, how often, like, you're having a hang session, or whatever, and you're going for a walk in the woods, whatever it is, and you start talking about your thoughts, your feelings on your loss, your grief. Do people tend to try and fix? I'm a guy, so I'm a fixer. I'm let's figure this out. Let's do some measurements, make a couple of cuts, some glue, we'll get this thing, figured out. Does that happen often when you're does that make you afraid to talk about your emotions?
I think of it as I call it the 3 R's. So people do one of these 3 things when you share your emotions, or this has been my experience anyways, and sometimes they do all 3. They try to rebuttal, they try to relate, or they try to repair. And like, so if I was like, this thing or whatever, or what I'm feeling, and then it's like, oh yeah,
I had this time at band camp.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
Yeah. Or, the reparative thing where it's like, well, at least you had blah, 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 or, there's the sort of rebuttal thing where it's just like, they will come at you with either, more, I don't know if it's like more questions or more, I've had people who like will put emotions in my mouth for me. They're like, well, you're probably feeling this, and stuff. And so it does get kind of sticky there. But again, it just comes down to like saying, and you don't have to be rude, but like, is it okay if you just listen? Or, and that's just so foreign to, I think most individuals, just to say, will you just maybe just listen, or whatever, or like, you can ask follow-up questions or whatever, but like, you don't have to fix it because you can't, and you don't have to relate all the time. I mean, there's a time and a place,
That's something I've learned. We started talking about anniversaries and whatnot and marriages. I've learned through my marriage, shut the hell up sometimes.
Right.
Just listen to what she's talking about. Don't try and fix it, even though it's a super easy fix. All you got to do is tell this one person, F off, and the whole problem goes away. You just listen.
Right.
Yeah.
I find that because of all those things, like what you said, it is always one of those types of responses. I find that I more often than not don't bring it up, even around people that I think are totally equipped and willing to let me do that. If for no other reason that I don't want to ruin everybody's good time. You know what I mean? Like I don't hide from it either. You know what I mean? Like if something comes up, like I'm not going to like, oh, someone said the M word. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't have one of that, and it gets weird. I know that it happened and I can talk about it, and there's no weird like hangups there, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't. And maybe that's not good. Maybe that's not, you know what I mean?
Do you feel let
maybe
down
there's
when it doesn't come up though? Or like when somebody doesn't bring it up? Like that's where I'm at.
It depends on the situation. It kind of depends on who it is and what the situation is, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't, I probably need to, you know what I mean? Or it's just like, and part of it's for me too, where it's like, it's not super fun to get all sad. You know what I mean? And sometimes, I'm sure you can agree where like that like cry wave.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That like a thought comes into your head followed by that like rush of like, you can cry. You
Yeah,
know what I
right,
mean? And
yeah.
you're just like, I'd rather not. You
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's not a real fun feeling. And so like when I have those like even with like my wife, like, you know, like she can read my face like anybody, and like a fleeting thought, and she's able to be like, what's up? And I'll be like, I'm good. And she's like, I don't think you are.
Mhm.
And it's just like, part of it's like, I don't want to bum her out, but a bigger part of it's like, I don't want to bum myself out. And if I can get past it,
Mhm.
that's probably best. But then you have those feelings of like, oh, am I shutting people out?
Mm.
I don't want to do that. But it's just like, it's
It's a delicate dance.
It is. It is.
and I've never been a great dancer.
I'm kind of in the where I'm at is where I just feel like I'm just having it as it comes. Like I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not talking myself out of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've said to myself in a long time like, nope, don't do it. Don't go there. I'm just like, okay, here it comes. And I just have, and that's why I think I'm just such a loose cannon sometimes, you know, whether it's in the office or whatever, where it's just, I don't know when it's going to come. And I think I just stopped being afraid of it and stopped overthinking it, and I just started to allow it to really do its thing. And it's, I don't know if it's right or wrong or whatever, but I know that it's just what I know. You know, I'm trying to really concentrate on the knowing of myself, you know, what it is that I need. What do I need right now? Yeah. So
what would be the easiest thing for someone to say to you that wants to help? Is it just you know, I care about you and I'm here for you? Let me know what I can do. Is that the
I
easiest
think
thing?
just like an intentional, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easy to put intention behind those three words. And if you really know a person, there's a difference saying, hey, how are you? And how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and me personally, I'm the kind of person that's all, you know what I mean? And I'm going to give you as much or as little as I need to,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And be appreciative of it.
Yeah.
It's that simple for me.
I think it's the people who just don't overthink it, and I think I'm past the point where it's like where I'm not as closed off where I feel angered by people's questions and responses.
You'll
I'm
never
neither.
understand.
Right. Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
neither,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I think there definitely was a space there for that, and that I definitely was doing that.
Or
But
you don't want to know, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that sort of stuff.
yeah. And I've always, even though I felt that stuff inside, I've never said it out loud, but I definitely felt it, and I'm sure you could sense it on me, you know, or whatever. So, you know, I think if you just kind of read the room, and if you're, you know, you're 100% authentic. If you saw me out on, you know, 4th of July or something, and, you know, I was all choked up because of the fireworks, or we saw each other in passing glance, it's like, kind of sucks, huh? You know, like those just really candid moments where it's just like, yeah, it really does. It just allows you to be seen. And if it's just like a casual, how's life? How's life now? How's life right now? That's a really good one. How's life right now for you? That feels good. You know, or how's your walk in this kind of thing? Like I have friends, Christian friends, who have no problem saying, how's your walk with Jesus? Who have no problem saying that to me, but never say like, how's your walk in your grief, you know, or whatever. So, you know, not that you have to get so, you know, animated about it, but you know, it's even just to have those. But I also realize like not everybody thinks like me, and I'm a little divergent when it comes to some things, but you know, I don't know. I think it's go with what your heart says. And if we're going to be a dick to you, that's a us problem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's no excuse for us, even if we're in the thralls of grief and pain, it's no excuse for us to be bitter and shitty to you. And if we are, we hope that you will come back, you know, and that we will be honest enough with ourselves to be like, you just are pushing Joe away. You're just pushing him away, you know? But it doesn't give us an excuse to be shitty towards the people who are trying to love.
And we don't want to be. I don't want to be.
Speak for yourself.
Jeff wants to be shitty.
It depends on the day.
Carte blanche. This is my get out of shitty jail
She
free card.
thrives in the shitty lane.
I do. Do my best work over here. I've been reading this book, and I'm reading it a second time around, and it's incredible. It's a really powerful book about. It's written by a woman for women, and it's just about like basically unchaining yourself, and really it's called Untamed. So it's like setting the wild part of you free.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Yes, it's such an incredible book.
Helen Reddy.
Glennon Doyle wrote this. So she has a space in the book specifically that talks about grief, and she wrote this little paragraph, and I want to read it, and then I want to get your guys' perspective on what she says here. She said, "There is no glory except straight through your story. Pain is not tragic. Pain is magic. Suffering is what is tragic. Suffering is what happens when you avoid pain and consequently miss your own becoming. This is what I can and must avoid, missing my own evolution because I'm too afraid to surrender to the process. Having such little faith in myself that I numb or hide or consume my way out of my fiery feelings again and again. So my goal is to stop abandoning myself and stay." That like hit me like a ton of bricks, where it's just like, I just have to be in it, and I just have to really let it shape me and shape who I am now. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of a lot of what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What our reactions to different people and why we have them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the holding things back, or the not opening yourself up, or not being vulnerable, or not trusting, or not relating, or any other not you can put in front of another word.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately is keeping you from, because shit ain't, how many times we got to say it ain't going away,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, you learn to
Mm-hmm.
figure out who you are now, or try to hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things are hiding from it. They're defense mechanisms. I'm aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a weirdly self-aware person that doesn't follow through. Like,
I shouldn't be doing this.
I
I will continue to do this.
or I should be doing this, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Those are all things we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's uncomfortable sometimes. And a part of, for me, that uncomfortableness is not knowing what the answers to any of the damn questions are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, how many times have I said that? If I could, $1 for a time, I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Million questions, same answer. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I think. I don't know for sure what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Can I read that again?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know your password, so you're gonna have to.
No, let me pull it up here. For me, it is. It's about not rushing through, not running from. She talks a lot about like bravery in the book, and like what we're taught bravery looks like. So she talks about like how, let's say I pushed Claire to go out on the soccer field and perform through a game, even though she had crippling anxiety that day. But society tells us that it's good to push yourself to do those things.
Overcome.
Yes. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and overcome it. And that is what bravery is. When in actuality, there's no way that I would ever tell Claire, you're going to a party tonight. If a boy corners you and tries to make you do something that you don't want to do, you grin and bear it, and then you overcome.
You just do it.
You just do it. Right. So like, what's the diff?
If you feel like it's wrong and you shouldn't be doing it with that boy, you push past those fears. You just do what he wants.
You just do it. So
Mom, somehow I don't trust your advice.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing is like, we are taught to believe like overcoming uncomfortable situations is what's brave. But I think really what bravery is digging deep down within in those moments. That is where you're asking yourself, why do you feel this way? And if it is something that you need is to not go out onto that soccer field because you know yourself well enough to know that you're going to fall apart out there, or you're not going to do your best, or you dig deep into what she refers to as the knowing, and you say, this is stupid that you feel this way, that you're afraid to go out there and be embarrassed because your shorts are too tight or whatever, but you're going to go out there and you're going to do your best. And so I think what bravery is knowing yourself. And so I think for me, where I'm at is like knowing that I just have to sit in this, and that on the other side of all of this pain will be the rise of a new woman. And it may be years, but I'm not going to be afraid to be in this for years. I'm not going to be afraid to be in this for as long as it takes, because I know that because I've been through much, I know it goes in order of event or great big thing, the pain that comes from it, but always on the other side is the rise. And I know that I will rise from this. So I'm just not going to be afraid anymore. And I'm going to trust the knowing in every circumstance for what it is that I need.
What I got out of it, if you don't mind if I jump in, it's something that I've been working on in my personal life, which is not worrying about stuff. The pain is magic, the suffering is tragic, I think was the rhyme time that we got into line by line there.
I like that.
But that can be, in my mind, the suffering being tragic, the pain being magic. If you worry too much about something leading up to it, like I was asking you earlier, are you dreading? Are you worrying about getting up to the birthday? Are you worrying about this anniversary date, whatever it may be? You're going to pretty much seal your own fates at that point in time, whereas if you can just block that out and whatever happens, the pain, if it's painful, that's magic. That's you're feeling emotion, and it's real because it's happening. It's not something that you've imagined. It's not something that you've manifested because you've spent all week or all month dreading this thing that you're eventually going to make this thing you dread happen in a dreadful way because that's where your mindset is. Yeah. So if you can just, whatever it's going to be is going to be.
Yes.
And then if it does suck, then so be it. You got to deal with it at that point in time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And you can plan for, okay, if it does suck, okay, this is what I'm going to try and do. But I try not to dwell on it any more than that. So like if I, have a big presentation and it goes horribly wrong at work, here's my one thing I'm going to try to save it. And if not, then, well, that's just what it is. But I'm not going to dread it. I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Right.
Sarah.
It's like trusting that self. Yeah.
I think that's
really good.
That's something I guess realized is like, and a lot of the stuff we've been saying kind of made me think about it more, is like, I was expecting all these like big, like all these events, like these big bricks of yuck but that's not necessarily what it is. It's like you said, it's all the in between stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shit that holds the bricks together. That's the yuck. It's not Christmas morning. It's all the stuff that you do leading up to Christmas. It's not sitting down for Thanksgiving. It's putting the meal together. It's
the last Halloween song. Dang
yeah,
it! Now I'm going to hear the Christmas songs
right.
and I'm going to get sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not the birthdays. It's the thinking about how the birthday's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were just saying, and it's like, yeah, if you can find a way to be okay with that in between,
Mm-hmm.
those big chunks don't seem as.
Well, and I think what she was saying is that if you choose to ruminate on those things, like the future birthdays and you whatever, that is unnecessary suffering. We don't need to do those things. We can just sit in the suck and we can stare the pain in its face and then we can overcome it. And to me, that is bravery, is to know that it's there and to face it in spite of it anyways, and to not ruminate on the things that we cannot control. And so that is where the rise becomes the new, I think.
Well, it's like if you worry about stubbing your toe constantly, you're never going to get off the couch.
Right. Yeah.
Get up.
And all that worrying didn't make it hurt any less when it finally happened.
Yeah,
Right.
because I mean, you're going to. It's going to happen. It's going to be your
for
little
sure.
toe, and you're going to swear, and it'll
So
be at
much
a
swear.
church,
So
Oh,
much.
probably
the
at someone's
swears.
So
funeral.
many swears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good perspective, good side to hear from.
Well, I've gotten a lot out of our conversation today.
Yeah.
Plus, it's my first ever book club, so that was exciting.
Yay, book club.
42 years old.
Such a
and
great thing, sharing in literature with your friends.
feel like I need to get some crystals.
Ooh. What? How did that even? I don't. Yeah, is
That seems like
is that what
the
you think
next
girls do in book clubs? Is they just share paragraphs and then like swap crystals? You're so weird. Yeah, Joe, how did you ever?
This is
get
Tiff's
married?
awkward. I just got found out. No, that's not what we do. You're weird, Joe.
Totally.
Stop thinking that. Don't say that out
Gosh.
loud anymore.
And also, I'm gonna put a binding spell on you tonight.
He's on to us.
Yeah, this was good. This was good. That hour went fast.
Yeah.
But thanks for your candor, Joe.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. He's humble too.
Yeah.
He's so humble.
He's in good company.
Yeah. I love it. So, I don't know. Final thoughts?
I think final thoughts as far as today goes. Try to put a positive. We're going to try to look at things a little differently, I
Yeah.
think.
Be direct.
Ooh.
Not a lot has changed as far as
Yes.
what's going on, but it's all about perspective, I think.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, we're completely in control of the feelings we feel, to an extent, I suppose. Sometimes they get a little wild on you, but we can choose ultimately how we want to handle things, and that dictates how much power everything has. And yes, it's easier said than done, but I think saying it's the first step, right?
Mhm. Can I challenge you to do something?
You always do, Tiff.
Okay.
Every day you challenge
I'm
me.
sure I do.
You make life very challenging every
You're
day.
not the first person to tell me that. The next time that you feel like just garbagey, like the next time you just are feeling really heavy,
Just leave you out of it this time.
yeah, leave me alone. Could you please?
Call someone else.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is like, would you try to exercise that, like, hey, friend, and I know the friend that you're speaking about, I'm having a really heavy day. Do you think you could just come over and hang out with me? Like, do you think you could get uncomfortable a little bit and let somebody in like that?
Yeah, I think I'm not trying to deflect, but I think I try to.
Yeah. I mean,
There's
do you think you
certain
could put some
people-
intention behind it?
Maybe.
Like, be aware of it? and like really reach out in a moment of need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just be like, I'm struggling right now. Could you come and sit with me? Or, like really open yourself up to be vulnerable to that.
Yeah. I think I need to get to a place where that's something I want.
Yeah. Maybe you don't.
Or have that moment meet that.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. I like to.
I will try to be more intentional with that. When it comes around.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Perfect.
And what do you want me to do?
Ooh.
Just kidding.
No, but yeah, I got a list. I got a list.
How much time you got, buddy?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's revisit that in the next few episodes. I'm just going to bring it up randomly and see if you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of a way I can challenge you.
Yeah. Give it to me. What do you got?
Mm.
You don't got it. You don't got
You
it.
don't
You don't got enough.
Wow.
What kind of challenge can you?
I got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Can I do this?
Yeah.
Okay, because coming in, I don't know that this was on air or not, but
Yeah.
you had some feelings towards your weekend coming up here.
Yeah.
Do enough to make yourself happy, but also do enough to make the others with you happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's your challenge.
Mm.
So not give too much of yourself away, but not pull all of it in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've been wrestling with that a little, so yeah.
Is that fair? I mean,
Yeah, no,
okay.
I literally on my way here to the studio, I was thinking, how am I going to do this weekend? How am I going to balance it out?
You know what I want you to do, though?
I don't know.
You got to pick one or the other, whatever I
Okay.
said or whatever
Okay.
he's
No,
about to
it can
say.
be both. It
Okay.
can be both.
Yeah.
I want you to get a little selfish
Mm.
and not feel bad about it. I want you to take that feeling of the stuff that you just know, that knowing, and apply it to things that maybe seem a little more trivial to you and not worth the battle, which are. Because when you came in here tonight, you were in a completely different mood.
Mhm.
And I know when you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not always what I think should happen. So I think, and I'm not saying it's not something you do or you don't do, but I think you should make the people that need to be aware of what this weekend really means to you is before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they should already know, and even though you've already told them.
Be direct.
Mm.
Be like, this is heavy duty.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's being considered.
Yeah.
Putting the ball in someone else's court, I guess. I know that doesn't always work out the way that you want it to,
Yeah.
but I think for this weekend to be good for you, I think that it's something you should do.
Mm-hmm.
To be very specific, get a pool.
I was going to say, depending on who you book through, you can cancel up to 24 hours in
Yeah.
advance and rebook a different with a pool.
Okay.
Just go swimming.
Just go swimming.
Will you go swimming for me, Tiff?
Yeah.
Stay out of the hot tub.
Ooh, those are cesspools.
And also, just a heads up, most continental breakfasts
Yeah.
not happening because of the whole COVID
I
thing.
know.
Like
Yes.
they have it on the website, continental breakfast.
Yeah.
Like you can't just pull
and
that
most
off.
pools are closed too because of
Not in Iowa.
not in Iowa.
Oh yeah,
I forgot who
pools
our
are still
governor is.
happening.
Hey-o. I said it.
Yeah.
All right, I will take both of those and make it work.
Kind of like an Outcast song, push then pull.
Oh, you're right. Now I'm gonna have that freaking song in my head. Outro music.
Don't have the royalty rights.
Nope.
Well, thanks for letting me talk about Ethan a little bit more than usual and share some of my thoughts with you all.
Here for it, dude.
Yeah. Appreciate it. So I guess until we meet again.
Maybe soon, maybe not. Maybe, who knows? We're unpredictable.
That's right, rogue.
We are. But thanks as always for tuning in, guys, and hang in there.